All right. Hello again. Today is the day the new season begins officially. We got Premier League starting today, and all the leagues are going to be starting this weekend. So exciting times if you're a soccer fan. And I just wanted to film like that video that I was saying with like my predictions for the top five leagues. So as I said before, I'm not really that like deeply knowledgeable on like all the leagues, like all 20 to 18 to 20 teams in every single league. So I'm not gonna do like a prediction for all of them, but I know the Prem pretty well. I know the La Liga pretty well. I know Serie A pretty well, I would say. So I made like up here you can see like there's a Google Doc. I made some predictions. Some of them are like who are gonna finish top 10, top 6, top 8, top 4. I also wanted to talk about who I think is going to be the top goal scorer, top assister, player of the season, and then the overachieving club for each league and the underachieving club for each league. So I guess, yeah, let's just get it started. First game today is Liverpool-Bournemouth. Another thing that I was thinking about doing is like all the big games that are upcoming for each week, maybe like every Sunday. I can do like an upload of like the upcoming weeks from that Sunday on to the next Sunday and like just the big games and what my predictions are. I'll just talk about them. So let me know if y'all want that. It'll be like a weekly thing. But yeah, let's just get started with the Prem. So I just wanted to, we can go over. This was the Prem last season. Obviously team of season is right here. Liverpool, we know, won the league. Arsenal fell short. Arsenal, I think with the injuries that they had, it's unfortunate they fell like this short. I think it would have been a title, closer title race. But obviously this season is, people are super excited for some change and all that. And it's like, I think it's going to be a really good Prem season, a really competitive one. I think the top 4 teams that I have are all capable of winning the league. So here are my predictions for the Prem. As you can see, I did top 10 finishes. So we can start off at the bottom. Everton. I'm just thinking with their new stadium that they have, it's a full season under David Moyes now, and they've like trimmed all the fat off of their roster. We can go over here and kind of check them out. So Everton, if we look at their squad, they have a good keeper still in Pickford. I think he's more than capable. Branthwaite will be coming back from injury. Tarkowski and Michael Keane are serviceable at the back. Some exciting players I want to talk about. Jack Grealish, obviously, signed with Everton. I think he's going to have a really good year. I think getting consistent game time and having that freedom. He's kind of like that creative focal point now for the side, as he was for like Aston Villa when he was at Villa. So I think he's going to have a good year. And Tierno Barry, look out for him. I think he's also going to be really good this year. This is a really good signing that Everton made from Villarreal. I'm really high on him. Watching him in La Liga, he was really good. So yeah, I think 10th is good for Everton. I think they're a club that kind of belong in that upper half of the league. They've struggled for a couple of years, but now I think they're back on it. 9th, I have Nottingham. I think Nottingham, they had like a really, really good year last season. And not to say that they like overachieved. Their squad is also really good. But I think they're going to take a little bit of a step back with Conference League obviously in play. And I'm not very high on Nuno Santos. I don't know about him, really. I think he's a decent manager. I just don't think he's the manager that's going to consistently be finishing, in the top 7, top 8. Or in their case, they finished 7th last year, and I have them 9th over here. So I think they'll take a little step back. They still have a really good squad. I think this is the biggest piece of the team. Morgan Gibbs-White, retaining him is almost as good as like a signing, I feel. He's really, really good. I think having him for the next coming years is going to be massive for Nottingham. And I think if you look at like Brentford with Mbeumo last season, how good he was, Wissa, how good he was, a couple seasons before that, Ivan Toney, like these like mid-table sides that have that one guy that can like kind of elevate, they always seem to, finish highly in the table. Chris Wood, I think, will take a step back. I think Igor Jesus is going to be good this season for Nottingham. There's not much else to say. Just like I think they'll finish, a little bit below than what they did last year. In 8th, I have Man United. Now, this might be a little bit too high for some people. Some people might think it's too low. But I think the not having any European football, like they're just going to be playing league, just Copa or Carabao Cup and FA Cup. I think that's going to benefit them a lot. I think they do have a pretty decent squad, and if they can get Baleba, this will be a whole different thing. I think they're going to be super good in attack. They have such a vertical, kind of free-flowing attacking system. It's just at the back that I think they're still leaking a lot of goals. They do need a center back signing, I feel. I think Lenny Yoro is going to have a really good year this season. I think he'll cement himself as the best center back in this side. Getting Lisandro back as soon as possible will also be good. Although I don't rate him too highly, I just think in this Manchester United side, he is a really good player at that back line, him paired with Lenny Yoro. And then obviously you have Matthias de Ligt as well in there. Harry Maguire, I think, is very serviceable. Still, he gets too much hate. I think people now are like kind of respecting him as for like the player he is. Dorgu, I'm really excited. I think he's really good in Amorim's system. Ugarte's fucking ass. Kobe Mainu, I hope he gets more game time under Amorim because he's a quality player. He's the type of player that I want at Real Madrid. I just don't know where he would fit in, you know? I think Mason Mount looks rejuvenated. I think the squad as a whole looks a bit more rejuvenated. And they do have some outgoing still. I think Garnacho is leaving the club. Anthony they're trying to get rid of. Jadon Sancho, Rasmus Højlund. I would like to see them keep Højlund just so they have that competition. Šeško obviously signed now. I think Šeško, while I don't think he was worth that lofty price tag, I think he'll be good for this Manchester United side in like dropping in and letting the wingers run forward. I think Cunha and Mbeumo are going to have really, really good years. They're quality, like Prem-proven signings. I just do think the squad still, it's going to take a long, long time for Manchester United to get back to those glory days. But I think 8th is obviously a big step up from 15th last season. And if they can scrape some sort of European ball, that would be great. I think Amorim while I don't know if he's the right man, I think giving him a full season and like entrusting in him is the right call. I think the biggest issue that United have faced since Ferguson left is they just don't have continuity in the squad, and they've picked a lot of passive managers, and there's just been a lot of rotations, a lot of different player profiles that don't fit the single manager's kind of style of play. And I think Amorim is now building that. And I think, yeah, you just have to give him a shot because he was quality at Sporting, you know? So it could be really good. I'm a little worried that they'll be too dependent on one sort of system. And it's a very unique system that Amorim plays. But yeah, I think just no European ball is a big plus for Manchester United. In 8th, I have 7th, I have Newcastle. Obviously, there's the whole thing going on with Isak right now. Will he leave? Will he stay? I think he'll stay. I don't see Liverpool making any push for him, especially with them going as center backs now. I'm pretty sure they signed a center back from Italy. Forgot his name, and they're also looking to bring in Mark Gahey, and they're also offering Konate a new contract. So I don't think Isak will go this year. I think, in a little while he'll kind of be integrated back in this side. But let's say, he does, whether he stays or goes, I think Newcastle have made some decent signings still. Anthony Elanga, not worth the price tag, but he'll be a good player on that right-hand side. You signed Jacob Murphy from Aston Villa, I believe, or Sheffield Wednesday. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. He's back from loan. But I'm pretty sure they signed someone recently. Maybe it's not confirmed. I saw that Here We Go. Jacob Ramsey, I'm pretty sure they signed from Aston Villa. I think that's a quality signing. I think Jacob Ramsey is a quality player for Aston Villa. It does weaken them a little bit, and obviously I do have Aston Villa up here, so maybe you have to rework that. That's the one reason I didn't want to do this so early, just because there's all these signings going on, but it's fine. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to lock it in. But yeah, I think Newcastle still have a really good squad. They've retained almost everybody. I think Livramento is quality, keeping him at the club. So versatile at the back, can play both fullback positions at a high level. I think he's a good keep. I think Trippier might be on his way out, but he's a good backup to have if you can keep him. Nick Pope is still a good keeper. And then their midfield, keeping their midfield intact was huge with Tonali, Guimaraes, and Willock is here. who's that third guy that they have in the middle? I'm blanking on his name. Joelinton. Keeping that midfield intact, I think that will be like the spine of the team, and with that, I think they'll be comfortably in 7th. I'm pretty sure they have Europe this year as well. Just to let me check to make sure. Oh, Nottingham, get the hell out of here, boy. Newcastle 5th. Yep. So they have Champions League. That's huge for them. So yeah, I think a little step back in the league is expected. I would love to see them go after Guirassy if Isak leaves. I think Guirassy is a good signing, and he's a good player to have for the next 2 to 3 years while you wait for a new striker prospect to come into the market. But that's only if Isak leaves. I think if Isak stays, he will play. I don't think they're going to just banish him. Once he starts scoring goals and stuff for the club, the fans are going to forget this whole fiasco. But I do think he'll leave next season. Next up, I have Spurs. Obviously, I think I'm not going to talk about them too much because I talked about them in my video that I made 2 days ago on the Super Cup. But yeah, I think I'm really high on Thomas Frank. I'm really high on this squad that they have. I think they have a really good squad, and I think they're still making inclusions as well. If they can get like a 10, if they can get like a Savinho type of player, Eze type of player. There's that one player from Leicester as well, who's like an attacking mid. I actually want to see who that guy is, because he is really, really good. Is he not in the... This guy right here, Bilal El Khanous. I think that's a good signing that Spurs can make if they can't get Eze, if they can't get Savinho. But yeah, I think the squad is good. I think the squad is pretty complete. Losing, obviously, the injuries to Madison and the injuries to Kulusevski do hurt. But I think they'll do enough to be back in that top 6 kind of realm. And I think Frank's a really good manager. I think he has like a solid base for this team set up. They're all working for each other, as we saw in the Super Cup. They're all playing for each other. They have a good defensive structure, and it's just going to be about finding those goals. So if Solanke can find his way, then it'll be really good for Spurs. Now into the top 5, I have Aston Villa. They're in Europa League this season, which I think you wanted to be in Champions League. Obviously, you lost out on the final match day, but I think they'll win Europa League. They have the Europa League GOAT Unai Emery as their manager, and they still have such a good squad. Obviously, we'll see what happens with Emi Martinez, but if they can keep him, that'll be really good. I think Konsa is one of the best center backs in the league. Pau Torres is still really good. Then they have Ian Maatsen still, who I'm super high on. I watched him when he was at Dortmund. That season that they made it to the Champions League final. He's quality. I think Amadou Onana is really going to take a step up this year and show to the world why a lot of big clubs wanted him before he moved to Aston Villa. I think he's a really, really good player that Aston Villa have. Morgan Rogers. I'm pretty sure Morgan Rogers... what? Oh, he's out for injury. I did not know that. But yeah, he is so good. I think Morgan Rogers is going to have a big step up this season, and I think in the following season he'll make that big move to like a top club in England. Doniel Malen, I'm pretty high on him. They just have a really good squad overall. They have pretty decent depth around. I think if they lose Ollie Watkins to injury, that's the one place where they don't have depth. They don't have a player that can play striker. I don't like Morgan Rogers. Obviously he has striker here, but no, I don't think he's not. That's not his best position. So they'll have to look out for that. Just try to keep Ollie Watkins healthy, and if he can stay healthy, then I think 5th is a solid finish for them. And I see them going far in Europa as well. Now we get onto the top 4. And in 4th, I have Chelsea. Chelsea, I think they have such a good squad. Obviously, world champions. I think Maresca's figured this side out. If the injury to Colwill didn't happen, I was genuinely considering putting them even higher than 4th. But I think, the inconsistencies at the center back position that they still have are hard to ignore. But other than that, they have such a good squad. I hope they retain Renato Vega. I think he's a good center back to kind of have in the squad with Colwill out. Hato is a brilliant signing. If they can offload some of their guys like Ben Chilwell, Nkunku, Nicholas Jackson, that'll be I think better for them. They can sign Garnacho then, and they're still looking at Javi Simone. You know, all these signings, they're still they're still heavy in the market. They're still active in the market. You know, Cole Palmer I think is gonna have a stellar season this time around for Chelsea. Player of the season candidate for me. Pedro Neto seems to have found his own in this Chelsea side. Estevao, look out for Estevao. He is going to be a really, really good player this year. Super excited for him. Gittins, I'm also really high on Gittins. The only thing with Gittins is I'm hoping he gets consistent minutes. If he doesn't, it'll stunt his development, which I don't want to see. I think he's a quality player. And obviously the front pairing of João Pedro and Liam Delap, they have two different dynamic strikers. And so Chelsea has this tactical flexibility about them now that they can utilize and kind of play different systems against different teams. I think they'll do well in Champions League as well. So yeah, I think fourth is a solid finish for them. It's just the back line is what concerns me. Now on to third, I have Man City. It's kind of the same sort of reasoning. Pep's got his wife back, so you know he'll obviously be good this season. They have such a good squad. I think Trafford is a great signing for Pep. I think it kind of moves Ederson out the club now. But they don't have a right back. Like, they don't have somebody that can play right back. They have Matheus Nunes playing there. And yeah, Pep has a system, if you saw in the Club World Cup, that he's playing to kind of get the best out of him at that right back position, but it's leaving such big gaps in transition. And I think that's going to be a big kind of drawback for the City side. I think they'll be hit on transition a lot. And I think to win this league, you need to be scoring high points. And I'm not saying that it's going to be a I think any of these teams can be flip-flopped in the top four. I think it's going to be super close. I think it's going to go down to the last month of the league, barring any injuries, obviously. You have Rico Lewis, but he's more of like a defensive mid, like a midfield type of guy that inverts. And then obviously they have, where is he? Ballon d'Or winner. Rodri, he's injured right now, but having him back, everything's going to click again. Pep's got his guy back. I think him and Tijani Reinders in a double pivot is just going to be fantastic to watch. You can see kind of the progression from like number sixes being just facilitators and recyclers of possession to more ball carriers. So now you have that you have the former with Rodri and the latter with Reinders, which I think is going to be a great midfield pairing. I think if they can get super good on the counter press, then yeah, they could still win the league, you know. Cherki is going to be a super fun player to watch, and now they have this like strike kind of duo like partnership with Marmoush and Haaland, and I hope that Pep can find a way to play them both, because bringing back like a two-striker system to the Premier League is just going to be great to see. It'll be a nice callback to the 4-4-2 days. I think McCarthy's out of the club, Savinho as well. So with them two leaving, I can see City making another signing, and it might be like a winger. I know they're looking at Rodrigo, but yeah, if they can strengthen that right back position and maybe keep one of them instead, maybe keep Savinho, I think this side could be back to their best. Now on to second, I have Liverpool obviously finishing second. A lot of people I think have them winning the league with the squad that they have. I would say the big reason they won the league last season is because there was so much continuity in the squad, you know? Like, Slot didn't try to do too much to change what was already a good side, you know? He just tweaked the little things, make them more solidified in transition, found the best out of players like Grafenberg, players like Luis Diaz, players like Salah, players like Szoboszlai. And now I think Slot is building the side to be future-proof almost, you know? So like with Kerkez, with Frimpong, with Wirtz, with Ekitike, he's building this Liverpool side up with his own innovations, his own ideologies. And I think that's going to be great. And when it works, it's going to work beautifully. I think Liverpool are going to be one of the best teams to watch in the league. I'm very excited to see them play today even. I just think it takes a long time and it takes a while to see these type of changes, click and come into fruition. Like if we look at PSG last season, they took half a season, but they're in fucking Farmers League, so obviously they still won, Liverpool are in the Premier League. You don't have that quick of a turnaround, you need to get it right. And I think continuity and stability is the best thing you can have in the Premier League. So I think they'll finish second. I think it'll be a close game, a close season that might come down to even the last game week. But I think Arsenal, this is their year that they win the league. I think their squad is pretty complete. Obviously, no changes in the defense, only benefits. Christian Mosquera, oh my goodness, he is really, really good. I saw him at Valencia. He was good at Valencia. I did not know he was this good. Always wants to get right on the tackle. Obviously, Gabriel Saliba back healthy. Calafiori, Miles Lewis-Skelly, Norgard, Zubimendi with that single pivot. They can now push Rice and Odegaard even further up, and I think that'll get the best out of Odegaard again, which I'm super excited to see. When he's playing at his best, he's fantastic. You have the such tactical flexibility with the side, and if they can still sign Eze, obviously Madueke is good, but if Madueke is the signing that you're making to be that left winger, I don't like it. I think you have to push for Eze. You have to push for Rodrigo. You have to make that sort of signing. And if they make that sort of signing, I think it's unanimous that, this is the year for Arsenal. I think the only drawbacks that they have is obviously maybe injuries pop back up. Hopefully not. They still have the shortcomings on that left-hand side, I feel, and obviously just the pressure. Can Arteta and Arsenal manage the pressure? Because this is like a big make or break year for them, They've been on the rise. They're kind of stagnating right now. So they need to make that push to get over the line. And obviously now they have their 9. They have Gyökeres. I think Gyökeres, while I'm not his biggest fan, I do think he's going to be a big goal scorer this season. I think he's just a bagsman. He's a true pure 9. And I think Havertz staying in the squad gives him good competition. They'll push each other to be better. Kai Havertz looks really good as well this year. So yeah, there's a lot of tactical flexibility. It's the most complete squad, I think, in the league. It's the squad that has changes that don't necessarily change the system, only benefit the system. So yeah, I think this is the year for Arsenal. I have them winning the league. So now on to the top goal scorer. I think it'll be Erling Haaland. He'll be back to his best. And then second place, or I guess you can, in the italicized names, I guess you can put maybe either dark horse or second runner up, maybe somebody that could win it. I have Gyökeres just because I think Arsenal creates so many chances, and I think if he can just get into a vein of form, I can see him scoring every single match week, But I think Haaland will do it. Bukayo Saka, I think will be the top assister. Kind of goes hand in hand with the Gyökeres thing. If you watch Saka, you saw how many chances he creates. I think he had 10 assists in his first 12 games in the Prem before he got that hamstring injury. It's just ridiculous. And I have Cole Palmer second. I think Cole Palmer will also be good. I think Cole Palmer can go in both of these lists. He can be in the top goal scorers list and the top assister. I think player of the season, obviously with Arsenal winning the league, I have Bukayo Saka being the player of the season. Overachievers, I think Everton. I think overachievers, maybe not the right word, but I think they're just going to propel up from what they were last season a lot. Let me see, their last season finish, 13th right here. Obviously not a big jump, but I think they'll be playing much better ball, I guess you could say Manchester United as well. I'll put them here as well with overachievers. And then underachievers, I think Wolves. Now, I didn't talk about them, but I think out of this, out of the three sides that get relegated, I think it'll be Burnley, it'll be Leeds, and it'll be Wolves. I think Sunderland have enough to stay up, and I think their stature of club will, kind of bolster them, and they'll get some important points here and there. They're not guaranteed to stay up. I'm just saying they'll finish right out of that relegation zone. But I think Wolves, they just have lost a lot. They haven't recruited well. Cunha and Ait Nouri, losing them is a big negative, and I think this is the season they kind of go down. All right, now on to La Liga. Here, obviously, the top 6 finishes. So in 6th place, I have Mallorca. I think Mallorca have recruited well this season, and I think they haven't lost a lot. I think keeping Leo Roman is great. He was one of the best keepers in La Liga last season. Proved it against the big clubs in Real Madrid and Barcelona. They've kept their backline pretty much intact. Keeping Mojica, I think Mojica is he's a good squad player. Darder as well, good leader on the pitch. Bringing in Pablo Torre is a quality signing, I think, for this Mallorca side, and they still have Muriqi as well, which I think is great. I think he's good. He's a great number 9 in La Liga. Is going to get you a solid amount of goals. I think they'll take that little bit of a step up over Celta, over Rayo. Finish a bit higher. And then in 5th, I have Villarreal. Obviously, they finished 5th last season, and I think they have pretty similar squad. Not too much change. Rafa Marin. I'm pretty sure Rafa Marin came in from Napoli. Yeah, because he was former Real Madrid. So yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know if he's like on the squad or not. But yeah, Juan Foyth, he's a good, solid player. Just not many changes. They brought in Partey. I don't want to talk about him because fuck that guy. Parejo, good player. Papagay, good player. It's just a decent squad. Gerard Moreno, keeping him with Pepe as well. They'll get some players back from injury. I think there's not much change in the squad, so I think not much change in the position they finish. Bilbao, kind of same case, but to a bigger extent, they've kept Nico Williams, which I think is huge this season for them. Obviously, signed him to that big contract. He's going to be really good for them. Gruseta, I think he's a good striker. Serrano, I'm hoping he'll take a step up. I'm a big fan of him. They still have Oyhan Sanset. He'll be back from injury. Prados as well. Unai Gomez. These are all just great squad players for La Liga. Their defense, I think, is a bit leaky. Vivian, I think, is really good, but other than that, I was hoping they would make like a signing on the back line, but they haven't. But I think their attack is more than good enough to compensate for that. And obviously, another year under Valverde, they'll just build. I think Nico Williams will get even better this season with no contract issues, no issues with transfers and all that, no discussions around that. So yeah. I think they'll have a good season. They'll finish 3rd again or 4th again, and obviously, like what everybody cares about is the top 3. So I have Atletico in 3rd. I think they're just perpetually a 3rd finishing side. They do have a really good squad. I would say they made a lot of kind of purchases, and they've kept a lot of their players. I think losing out on Renato Vega from Chelsea, that was unfortunate for them. That would have been a good signing. I don't like talking good about this side a lot. I think Ruggeri's a new signing. Pablo Barrios, that's the guy from Real Madrid. I thought Pablo Torre was from Real Madrid, but Pablo Barrios is from Real Madrid Academy. Fuck that guy. Alex Baena, fuck that guy. Hope this side gets relegated, But no, they're all right. I think Baena, while I dislike him a lot for what he did to Valverde, I think he's a good player, and I think whatever, 3rd place, not gonna win anything. 2 actual sides of the league. I have Barcelona finishing 2nd spot. They won the league last season, but I do think with obviously they were quality last season. They've only made good signings. I do believe that squads are gonna start figuring them out. It's a great side and all that, but you look at all the big sides, that win a lot. Teams are evolving very quickly in the sport now. If you look at Man City's treble year where they had the box midfield, they were then figured out the next season. They won the Premier League. It was super close. Arsenal kind of had them the whole season, and then Arsenal bottled it in typical Arsenal fashion. But they look good. They're getting Bernal back from injury. They have Joan Garcia signed. Marcus Rashford, I think, will have a big year. I don't know about their registration issues though. I think that might be an issue. I don't think Rashford is going to be registered in time for the season to start. But I think Fermi Lopez will take a big step up this season. I'm a huge fan of him. I just think that this year, with the continuity that Real Madrid have, and I think the system that they're trying to run and the innovation that they're trying to have, obviously they finished 4 points off Barca in a season where they were very poor. I think now that they'll take that step back and they'll get back, to winning ways. Obviously, I'm gonna back my club as well. Trent coming in, Howson, Carreras, Mastantuono. Like it's a really really good squad, and I think we'll see the best of them. They're getting Camavinga. Hopefully he'll be healthy again. I really would like a full healthy season out of Camavinga for him to show his quality. Jude Bellingham, I think once he's back, will only propel the squad even more. And I think there's a lot of tactical flexibility with this squad. I think and Xabi Alonso is really going to get the best out of Madrid, so I have them finishing first in La Liga. I can see it going either way, though. I think it's going to be a really, really tight race. I wouldn't be surprised if Barcelona win it. I just have Real Madrid winning it. Top goal scorers, I think this is like no doubt. I think Mbappe is going to be the top goal scorer. He finished top goal scorer with 31 goals in a season where he was trash for like the first 3 months, I would say. And now, like, with how good he's looked, how sharp he's looked, I think he's going to take, that step up. And I think he's going to I think he'll score, I'll say he'll get 34 to 36 between them, La Liga goals. I think he's going to be really, really good this year. In second place, I wanted to put Lewa, but I wanted to be a bit different. I put Julian Alvarez. That's the one player on Atletico that I'm a fan of. I think he'll have a really good year. Got 17 last season, and I think with the additions that Atletico have made, I think he'll, be even more of a presence for them. Top assisters, I have Lamine Yamal getting that title again. I just think he's such a creative threat. He's that creative hub for Barcelona, and it's hard to not put him there. And then second, I'll put a rogue shot, put Arda Güler there. I think he'll have a really good year starting and all that for Real Madrid, and I think he'll supply a lot for Kylian Mbappe. I think this connection is going to be really, really good. Player of the season, I have Mbappe or Yamal, kind of for similar reasons I listed up here. I think they're just going to be the best players on their team. Overachievers, I have Mallorca, with obviously them making that jump to 6, and then underachievers, Getafe, because I hate how they play ball and I hope they get relegated. So now we can move on to Serie A. Switch it up, and this is kind of where knowledge starts to diminish a little bit. I'm gonna try to keep up with all the leagues this season, and next season when I'm making the predictions, I can make it even more in depth. But this is how the table panned out last season. So this season I have Atalanta dropping down. I have Atalanta falling to 6th place from their 3rd position. I think they are losing Lookman to Inter. I don't know. I think they're still working the kinks out for that deal. But it's still a really good squad. I just think a lot of squads around them have bolstered a lot. So I have them kind of falling short. I think Serie A will be it's going to be a really fun league to watch again. It has been for the past 2-3 years. You should really tune into Serie A games, I would say, this season. In 5th, I have Milan. I think Milan, while they have lost a lot, I think they're, Allegri as their manager now, signing Modric. They've, where is he? Yeah. Luka Modric has come into the squad. Leao, I think, is going to have a really, really, really great year for them. They have a really good squad. I think they were under poor management last season. Keeping Mainan is a big thing as well. I think Allegri will look to get the best out of this Milan side, and I think 5th is a good squad for them. I can see them and Atalanta swapping. I wouldn't be mad if you told me to swap them. But yeah, I think they have a good squad, and I think management is obviously the biggest reason. I think it'll provide a good stability to Milan. In 4th, I have Roma. I think Roma have done really well this window, and I think they did really well last season as well. With them finishing 5th with Europe this season. Here's the squad. I'm trying to find some key players to talk about. Dybala, obviously. Actually, I thought they brought in more. I'm not gonna lie, but Evan Ferguson, I think he'll be good in the league this year. I think Serie A is a pretty good league for him to start building up again. Here's a player that I actually wanted to talk about, Kouadou Kone. I think he is really, really good. I'm surprised a big squad hasn't snapped him up this season, but yeah, I think he's going to be a quality player again for for Roma this year. And yeah, there's good continuity in the squad. In the side, Gasperini as their coach now. I'm pretty sure he was at Atalanta a couple of years back. Or am I thinking of a different guy? Yeah, they have Juric now. So actually, yeah, you know what? I back this more. I forgot about the manager change that they have. So I think Roma fourth is really good. It'll be good for them to make that step back into the top four. I think they deserve to. They're a good squad. In third, I have Inter. I think a lot of the heavy lifting of this squad but was done by their manager Inzaghi, who's now gone. They have Chivu now. Not many additions. Obviously, they might bring in Lookman, which I think will be great for them. I think Lautaro will kind of pick it up again. Thuram, he's a great player. But yeah, I just don't like. I don't know. I feel like this is the season Inter kind of take that step back, because I think so much of the heavy lifting was done by Inzaghi. And then second, I have Juventus. I think they've done really well in the window this year. I think a full season on the Tudor will help. They've obviously brought in where is he? Consensao. Consensao, I think he's a great player. He's gonna be that creative hub for in attack for this side. I think they're trying to bring back Kolo Muani. Jonathan David, I think, is a really good signing. I think he kind of fits this sort of like level that Juventus are at. I want them to sign better players. Obviously, I think Juventus are like a club that should be constantly, in Champions League conversations as they were before, and constantly like at the top of Serie A. But I think they're making steps in the right direction. I think Yildiz is gonna have another big year. Big fan of him. But yeah, Thuram as well. Kefren Thuram. I think he's a quality player. And yeah, I think the squad is just better. I think another player I want to highlight, Cambiaso. He's one of the where'd he go? Cambiaso, one of the best fullbacks in Europe. Keep a close eye on him because he is really, really good. And yeah, I think there's a lot of continuity in the squad and a lot of good top talent. Here's Consensao. I think he'll take a step up this season. So yeah, I think they have a good squad, and if they can bring in Kolo Muani, then I'm even more confident on this pick. But I think the best project in Italy right now is still Napoli. They have the best manager. I think they have the best squad, and they've done the best recruitment. Haven't changed too much in the squad that won the league last season and only made it better. They brought in Kevin De Bruyne, which I think he's gonna be really good this season in Serie A. I think Serie A kind of fits for the type of player that he is. Obviously lost a step physically, but technically still so sound. Him paired with Scott McTominay, I think De Bruyne will see him more take on that like deeper role and kind of play make more. So yeah, I think best Lukaku. I think he'll have another good year for Napoli. Yeah, it's the best project in Italy still, and I think that's the reason they're gonna win the league again. Top goal scorers, I've gone with Lukaku and Thuram. Lukaku for the reasons I listed before. Thuram just because I like him a lot, and I think he finished quite high last season, and I think he'll take that step up again this season. Knowing they'll put more importance on him is what I'm trying to say. Top assisters, I've gone with De Bruyne. For again reasons I listed for why I think Napoli are gonna win, and I've gone with Nico Paz as like my sideways like rogue shout. Player of the season, I think it's gonna be Thuram or De Bruyne. I really, really am high on De Bruyne at Napoli this season, but I think Thuram might edge it. Just obviously he's in conversations for the top goal scorer as well, and I think he's one of Inter's best players alongside Bastoni, alongside Barella. And then overachievers like with Como. I think another full year under Fabregas will help. I don't see them cracking into the top 6, but maybe like I can give them like maybe just outside of that top 6. They finished 10th obviously last season. They can maybe make that push. Maybe they do finish top 6. I can maybe see them 6. I just think these sides are a lot stronger. I can't see Atalanta finishing 7th. Maybe Milan out of in 7th. Maybe push Atalanta up to 5th and Como in 6th. But yeah, I think Como will do well. And then underachievers obviously Inter, because Inter are always in Serie A like winners conversations, and then now they're dropping to 3rd. Now into the Bundesliga. Again, everybody knows Bayern's gonna win the league, So Bayern's gonna win the league, and then do we even really care about these 3? I've just gone with Leipzig because I think they're gonna take a step up. Dortmund have continuity in the squad. I just think they're perpetual underachievers. And then Frankfurt losing Ekitike is poor for them. Top goal scorers again is going to be Kane. I'm going with Guirassy again because I like him a lot, but I think he should leave. Top assisters Olise and player of the season Olise. I think Olise will take that step up this season and kind of with Musiala out for a long time, he'll be that like focal point for Bayern Munich. Overachievers, I've gone with Leipzig because I think they finished like sixth last season, and I think they'll kind of be back in that Champions League. They finished like where the hell did they finish? Where the hell did they finish, bro? Seventh, actually. So yeah, I think they'll be back up. I think they'll overachieve, and I think underachievers are going to be Leverkusen. They've lost a lot. I don't like Ten Hag at all as a manager. So yeah, I think they're gonna kind of fall flat and kind of fall out of that top four, maybe like fifth or sixth. But yeah, I guess I'll put Leverkusen as underachievers. And then we'll finish up with Ligue 1. Who gives a fuck about this league? PSG gonna win. Top goal scorer Dembele, maybe somebody else, but who really cares? And top assist Doué. Nobody cares about this league. Nobody watches this league. If you watch this league, you're lying or you're French. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, there's my league predictions. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Yeah, see y'all.